Hey guys, it's Anna from Bright Lane Gardens and I'm coming to you from our indoor solarium, which is where we grow all of our indoor plants over the winter months. It is currently early October and the cold weather just started moving into our region here in northern Michigan. So of course it has me getting ready to plan my winter garden. Today I'm going to be starting my hydroponic seedlings from seed in Rockwool cubes. Rockwool is a very nice hydroponic medium for starting seeds because it does a great job of retaining moisture without additional bacterial or fungus growth, which really reduces mold growth when it comes to starting seedlings. Today I'll walk through my step-by-step process for starting seeds in a Rockwool medium, what products I need to have on hand before starting my seeds, some tips for success, and then at the end I will show a time-lapse day-by-day video of the progress of my seed growth. To get started, we'll just need to have a few things on hand before we can plant our seedlings. First and foremost, you of course need your Rockwool cubes. Rockwool is a relatively inexpensive material that's really easy to get. I will go ahead and link this specific brand that I use. Please note that any links I insert in the description of this video are affiliate links that we do earn a small commission from, so thank you so much for your support. Now these Rockwool cubes here I really like because they're very easy to break apart, and if you look closely you can see that they already have little holes in the cube. It makes it really easy to drop those seeds right inside of those holes so they don't end up growing along the side of the cube or underneath the cube. You'll also need a flat tray, something that can retain water, so you don't want anything with drainage holes. You do want something that's going to be large enough to hold all of your Rockwool cubes without squishing them too close together. You will want some sort of clear plastic dome like this that can create a greenhouse type effect for your seeds. If you don't have anything like this, you can kind of DIY it with some saran wrap and some sticks. You might have to get just a little creative, but what you want to do is create that greenhouse effect while your seeds are growing. A seedling heat map. This is just one that I got off of Amazon, but I've had it for many years and it's done a great job for me. I will link it in the description below. You will want some non-chlorinated water. Now, for some types of seeds, especially cannabis, I know people really get it down to a science with measuring the pH of the water, adding some hydrogen peroxide, and just doing a lot of amendments to the water. For me, we have well water at our house. It comes straight out of the ground and it is not treated. Unfortunately, it does really, really well for my plants. So I actually don't do anything to my water. Just know that this is not city water and it is certainly not chlorinated. If you do have chlorinated water, you might want to consider purchasing some distilled water from the store. And lastly, of course, I do need some packets of seeds. Today I'm going to be starting a wide variety of seeds because I want to grow a little bit of everything to start off my hydroponics garden. So we've got everything from tomatoes to herbs and peppers and everything else. Super excited to show you what we've got in store. I am going to start with one full layer of cubes, which is 36 cubes, as you see here. They do easily split apart. I'm going to keep them connected for this very first step, which is just to soak my cubes. Take all of the cubes that you want to start with and go ahead and place them face up in your tray. And you're just going to soak these for about 2 minutes. So go ahead and take your non-chlorinated water and pour it over top of the cubes. They will start to darken in color as soon as they start to get wet. And you'll want to use pretty much this entire pitcher full of water. Let your cube set for at least 2 minutes. You'll want to make sure there are no more light spots visible on your cubes and that they are thoroughly soaked with the water. Once your cubes have soaked for a couple of minutes, they should be completely dark in color and they should feel much heavier than they did when you first put them in the tray. Our next step is going to now be to drain off a little bit of the excess moisture in these cubes. Transfer the entire layer of soaked cubes into the sink. This is another reason I like to keep the cubes all in one piece until I'm ready to plant my seeds. You'll want to let the cubes sit in the sink for about 15 minutes to ensure all of the excess moisture can drain out of them. I picked out a huge selection of seeds for today's efforts. I'm just so excited to get my indoor garden growing, so I figured a wide variety is the way to go. First and foremost, I have a couple leafy greens that I want to grow. I've got green spinach and just a romaine lettuce. I do have a couple pepper plants. I'm doing an Italian pepperoncini, which isn't too hot, but is really nice for salads and cooking. And then I also have a hot Tabasco pepper, which is great for making hot sauce. I also have my tomatoes. These are the super sweet cherry tomatoes that do very, very well in a hydroponic setup. For my herbs, I have a basil. This is a purple and green basil blend, a classic peppermint, and of course dill. And then my two oddballs that I've never tried to grow indoors before, so I have no idea how these are gonna go. First is my carnation flowers. I just thought a pop of color would be fun this winter. And then I have watermelon, which I've been trying to grow watermelon outside for years, and we have such a short growing season here in Michigan that unfortunately I've never been able to harvest a full watermelon successfully while it's ripe. So I'm curious if it'll work indoors, but I figured we might as well give it a shot. Once your Rockwool cubes have drained for about 15 minutes, they should feel significantly lighter and there shouldn't be any water actively dripping off from them. Place your wet but drained Rockwool cubes back into your tray. And from here, we can go ahead and start to separate these cubes. Because these ones are already partially scored, these are very, very easy for me to separate. Once you have your cubes separated, it's time to go ahead and start planting your seeds. I'm going to start out with my spinach seeds just because they're a little larger and easier to work with. My general rule of thumb is for any seeds, I always want to put at least 2 seeds in every single cube just in case one doesn't germinate. If you do have seeds that are super tiny, like my mint seeds are here, I typically want to go more like 4 to 5 just to make sure that I at least get one that germinates. Since I already have a hole in the top of my cube, I'm just going to plop them right down in there. If your Rockwool cubes do not come with a pre-made hole in the top of them, you can use a sharp tool or a toothpick to go ahead and gently pry that Rockwool open. Next, I'm going to do my lettuce. If you have larger fingers and seeds like this are a little too difficult to work with, you can go ahead and use a toothpick. If you wet just the end of the toothpick, you can typically get it to pick up these seeds, and it just makes it a little easier to work with seeds that are small and light like the lettuce seeds are. My pepperoncinis are coming up next. And I'm going to split that with my Tabasco peppers. Keep following this process until you have all of your seed cubes planted. Now that all my seeds are planted in their cubes, I just want to do a once over with a light spray of just pure water. Next, I'm going to take my greenhouse cover and place it over top of my planted cubes. If your greenhouse cover does have vents on it, you'll want to go ahead and close those for now. We want to retain maximum moisture as much as we can, especially in the early days before anything starts to sprout. Once your seeds are planted, you'll want to select a location that gets decent outdoor light or light indoor light, but doesn't have the full force of an actual grow lamp. Seedlings do not need full-on light like your mature plants will once they're transplanted into your hydroponic system. I'm going to choose this shelf here. It just has the outdoor light coming from this window here and does not have any supplementary grow lights for now. It does have my heated seedling mat, which will provide a lot of really nice heat from the bottom up. And now we wait. Sometimes this is my least favorite part, but at the same time, I get really excited when I start to see a seedling emerge. For most of the plants that I planted today, we should start to see them sprout in about 7 to 14 days. I'll check back in once we have our first sprout.